The 25th regular session of the UN Human Rights Council commenced in Geneva today. The session commenced at about 1:30 in the afternoon Sri Lanka time, and the session will continue until the 28th of this month.
Secretary General.
The 25th regular session of the UN Human Rights Council commenced today under the auspices of the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and the High Commissioner for Human Rights Navi Pillay.
This 25th session of the Human Rights Council launches an ambitious year of activities to promote and protect human rights of all people everywhere and strengthen human rights mechanisms in all countries. In many parts of the world, impunity is still rampant, and accountability based on the rule of law remains a dream. Those who ignore these voices often find themselves being called to account sooner or later and lose their power. Respect for human rights is not a mere legal obligation, but also bestows legitimacy on those leaders who ensure this respect. Protection of human rights is at the very heart of the United Nations. It must shine through the decisions of its intergovernmental bodies and throughout the work of the organization.
This Council is uniquely aware of the heavy toll of human rights abuses and atrocities. You read the rapporteurs' reports, you hear the testimony of victims, you help translate those appeals into concrete action. And we survey crises and challenges around the world. Your work for accountability and an end to impunity are critical. I welcome the High Commissioner's report on promoting reconciliation and accountability in Sri Lanka. The Commission on Inquiry on the Democratic People's Republic of Korea gives voice to the suffering of the many victims of grave human rights violations and provides a roadmap for the country to adhere with the universal human rights standard.
47 countries are represented in the UN Human Rights Council. High Commissioner Navi Pillay's written report, which also consists of observations and recommendations on Sri Lanka, will be presented to the Council during the session. It was also reported in the recent past that a third resolution on Sri Lanka will be put forward at the UN Human Rights Council session. Navanithan Pillay is scheduled to submit a report. We have already sent our response to this report, but unfortunately, unlike last year, the response that we submitted has not been attached to the report and distributed. We have already made submissions regarding this. We also hope to make submissions regarding this when the report is presented. The Sri Lankan delegation at the UN Human Rights Council, which will be led by Minister of External Affairs Professor J.L. Piris, also comprises of Ministers Mahinda Samarasinghe and Nimal Siripala de Silva and Secretary to the President Lalit Weeratunga. Attorney General Palitha Fernando said that a team of specialists, including Additional Solicitor General Jayantha Jayasuriya and Deputy Solicitor General Shavindra Fernando, would also participate at the UN Human Rights Council session. The Sri Lankan delegation will arrive in Geneva over the next few days. Various people have said that a resolution has already been put forth, but no steps have been taken as yet to distribute such a resolution. We are prepared as a team to face this. On the 9th, when I go there, I hope to address the regional meeting and make further clarifications. At the same time, we hope to brief the international community on the progress we have made. Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, Samarasinghe, also spoke to Newsfirst today prior to the commencement of the Human Rights Council session.
Sri Lanka views this session as an opportunity for us to engage in a positive manner with the Human Rights Council, the membership of the Council, to project what Sri Lanka has been doing over the past year since the last high-level segment. We believe that we have done a considerable amount of taken a considerable amount of actions which have not been sufficiently appreciated by a handful of members of the international community. We believe that our approach of briefing everybody on what we have done will be viewed by these countries in a manner which will help them make up their minds about whether Sri Lanka has moved forward.